Big energy, guys. Big energy.
You're live.
Gotcha.
We're live. See that? Just like that, it stopped. Live. Boom. See that? Don't know where I'm looking. Don't know where my camera is, but that's okay because I'm here. I'm here. This talk show is on the go, and I'm your host, Sunda Croonquist, and I'm here with the talented, I mean, really multi-talented, and now so multi-platform. Kill the comic. He's
That.
killing. He's killing, guys. There's an audience here. They came out for you, Kill. Kill, tell me tell me everything about you. Because when I say Kill and people spell your name wrong, it's K-I-L. Is that correct?
Right. It's Kill Theodrick, K-I-L space T-H-E-O-D-R.
Kill, so it's Kill Theodrick.
Right.
And how would you pronounce it?
Theodrick.
Theodrick. Now,
Right.
I can't hear myself in my headphones. Does that mean anything? Since I'm technically declined or whatever they said I am? No? So you can hear. So then why do I have them? It's ridiculous. They talk about me. I can't even see myself in this, but that's okay because this is all about you. And now I can even hear better. And look, somebody's calling you. Probably got low battery.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Now, if that happened to a woman's vibrator, how do you think she'd react? She wouldn't be like, "Oh, it happens, right?"
She probably find the batteries.
Probably have the batteries ready, right?
Out of her TV remote.
Oh my God!
Whatever she needs to do to get her job done.
I'm so glad that we're talking like this, so frank, because I want to know why women are. I know why they fall in love with you, and you got to be careful with that because you're new on the scene. You know that.
Yeah. So definitely. This
is what they want to know. You want to know the questions people want me to ask you?
What?
Okay. Are you married? Are you anybody's baby daddy? Are you permanently here, and you are definitely from Nebraska, born and raised?
No, yes.
Wow. How many?
I think that answered those questions. Right.
See that? That means I would have to remember what I asked. So that was me.
So you said, am I married? Am I anybody's baby daddy?
Right. So that's
am I here permanently? And am I from Nebraska?
You're really from Nebraska, huh?
Right. So yes, I mean no and no to the first two, yes and yes to the second.
So you're really here for good. You're gonna leave Nebraska.
100%. Well, I already left Nebraska. I left Nebraska a year ago to pursue this career here in Los Angeles. Ironically, a week before the pandemic really shut down the entire country. So they say I came at a bad time, but I think I came at a great time. Personally.
Wasn't it perfect?
It was. It was the perfect time to be able to kind of just get my name out here a little bit more, even during the pandemic. By working with different comedians and doing like little sketches and whatnot, TikToks, and being able to network with people that I met, So I feel like I got a year head start on what I would have did if I got here.
I think you got more than a year. I think you got more than a year because even just coming to a place where it's like comedians for comedians, you don't find that often. It's just very hard to find a support group. Not that this is a support group because I am not here to make friends. I tell people that all the time. But you'd be somebody I'd be a friend with. You know what I mean? Because you're fun to be with.
I appreciate that.
And we have the strangest coincidences, not coincidences, but incidences that happen. I just want to go recent. I want to go talk about a restaurant that my daughter insists we go on, that I tell her beforehand, the guy fights with me. This guy fights with me.
Mm-hmm.
Fights with me, right?
It was like a scene from a movie. You would have thought that it was scripted between you two, but it definitely was surreal.
It was surreal. Yeah. Who talks to me like that?
It was TikTok worthy. And those are the moments that we need to catch on camera and we didn't. So I'm kind of...
Aren't you disappointed?
I'm kind of sad about that.
There's so many more.
I know. Actually, I think every moment with you is worth catching on camera. You never know what you're going to do next. So
look who's talking.
What's gonna happen.
You almost got me arrested that time. That's a whole other.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story for us.
Right.
But listen. I have so much stuff going on all the time, and I want to tell you why you're a relief in comedy. You talk about things that are different. You talk about things that make people think. People of all races. Your comedy is colorless until you want to make a point, of course. But I'm saying it's just as though you're painting a picture. I've seen you on stage so many times, and you're able to control an audience that was so unruly. The poor guy was like, please, before you. Did you not feel bad? Were you like, it's time to sit down, son?
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't feel bad. I just felt like maybe, as a comedian, there's always a chance you could have a bad set. So you try not to judge the person.
Of course not.
As far as a comedian goes, are you going to bring it up, bring up the topic? You have to. I mean, because I had to follow him, so I definitely brought it up on stage. It would have been awkward just to go up there with material, especially with where the crowd was at that moment. So, but did I feel bad or sad for him? Nah, because everybody's been through it. I'm sad that it happened. It had to happen on that level of stage, but you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that that guy will have plenty of more opportunities. I know I've heard of him personally, so I know that he's actually a really good stand up comic. But he had a bad game. Even the best have a bad game.
Nothing's worse than, I have to tell you, I started in the black rooms in New York.
Hmm.
And when you're doing a black room, and I'm allowed to say that, right? Because we're politically correct.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because it's funny. I'm not African American because I know Africans and they don't like us. It's so funny that people try to make you say things. And I don't know. In Nebraska, were you African American or black?
And Nebraska, was an African American or black?
Or you're alive? How'd you survive? What are black people doing in Nebraska?
They chilling out there, man. They out there.
They Jews there too, right?
Are they what?
They got Jews there too, I heard.
I don't know. Jews blend in with white people, so I don't even know. In Nebraska,
not always.
I mean, in Nebraska, they
really,
I have no clue if they're out there like that in Omaha, but there's definitely black people in Omaha, Nebraska. One of the best boxers, number one pound for pound fighter in the world right now is from Omaha, Nebraska. Terrence Crawford. Gabrielle Union, the actress, she's from Omaha, Nebraska as well. Stand-up comedian Godfrey, he's out of Lincoln, Nebraska.
I love Godfrey.
So, Nebraska has some color in it. You just got to go there to find out. Nebraska is like one of them stereotypical states that if you've never been there, you're going to think one thing until you go there, you find out different. Now, that is to say, as long as you stay in Omaha, because if you go anywhere else with Omaha or Lincoln, the stereotypes are all correct. It's just cornfields and Caucasians.
It's cornfields, Caucasians, and
white,
cows.
White women and white people.
And the white women like you, and then if they touch you, then you're going to be running for your life.
No, I don't think that at all.
It's not like that?
No, I don't think it's like, then again, I haven't ventured out that far into Nebraska to find out. So
you keep your drawers close.
Right, yeah. I stay within the city limits for the most part, but I never really. The only time I really experienced a lot of like racism was actually in the neighboring state in Iowa. That's kind of where you experience more of the racism, like from, I guess, the law enforcement they have there and the people that actually live there. But then again, a lot of people over there, they're kind of old school. So
I would be petrified. I'm never going to Oregon again. I was arrested in Oregon on a plane.
Wow.
They pulled me off of a plane in first class. I'm not going to go there because my husband's so sick of hearing the story, but I'm the only black person on the entire plane. I've been taking pictures with these white people, okay, who recognize me from like Hallmark,
right.
Things that Oregonians look at, that they would catch me, Law and Order, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, man, the pilot said he wasn't comfortable with me on the plane. And later, somebody's like, well, you shouldn't have been wearing a fur. You know better. You're in Oregon. I was like, why can't I wear a fur? It's cold. And I was in a wheelchair because I had broken my ankle. And they wheeled me there. So I have a cast on. And you're throwing me up there. And so I was like, I'm going home. I'm calling the police. Worst move.
Wow.
When they pulled me off in front of my kids, and you're not going to believe what my kids did. You're not going to believe my kids.
What they do?
They were young. They were young. And they were like, Mom, just go. We have a rehearsal with Debbie Allen in the morning.
Yeah, that's how kids are. Kids don't care about diddly squat. Kids don't care about what's going on at all. I heard a stand-up comedian talking about how kids just don't care. Even at a certain age, like, you don't even care if somebody died. You just like, man, what's going on? Is McDonald's happening or not?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So
I mean, what? I mean, it is about, what a school teacher told me once? She says, if we fall, they laugh. And if they fall, they're all concerned about each other. And I thought that was amazing.
It's true.
I'm just so happy I have someone watching the door so that doesn't open and close. That's what I'm saying about I was just kidding. Now, you know what? Comedy's different. It's a whole different climate. How come you don't have to change?
I feel like I do have to change. And it's something that I think you learn every single time you go on stage. I think that you have to be able to adapt to what's going on, and that's what kind of separates the comic from the comedian. Is being able to
read that audience,
not only read the audience, but be able to have a connection with them, and something that we all can kind of agree on as a topic. That type of comedy is what really makes an audience remember who you are. A lot of comedians talk about hack jokes, and hack jokes are typically jokes that can make somebody laugh because they're funny jokes to say. But when you can say subject matter that actually can have a connection with something that the audience as a whole is possibly going through, like the pandemic, or having a wife or kids, things that everybody's typically going through. That's when you typically become somebody that a comic can actually become a fan of, because now they have a personal connection with you and what you're saying on stage.
I try out comics, like new comics, and I like that you're looking at new comedians.
Right.
And I wanted to try Anya out on an Orthodox Jewish audience. because he's funny and he is colorless. Because in America, we all know Africans of how
You talking about 8 foot Anye?
this Anye, the basketball, the one that
Right.
came up the other night, right?
Yeah, Anye.
He's funny, right?
Right.
But I want to see if he could be funny in front of this group. So I bring him to a rehab facility, an Orthodox Jewish rehab facility, and he's doing these jokes about his African mother preparing lunch for a school trip is very different than American mothers.
Right.
And Jews know that because their Jewish mothers are overpacking food. And then he does the routine about his mother making goat stew or something that tripped on the bus. And everybody's like, ew. Isn't he funny? Because he's original.
Very original. And he captures, what he's someone that can't be like copied because you can tell that it's coming from an actual
truth
from his life, his personal experience. And that's what really, that's when you talk, you can tell that comedian is subject matter is original. He's not coming from he's not trying to be like anybody else. It's coming from what he's experienced himself, and he's turned that into comedy. So I think he's definitely hilarious. It's his joke about how his parents didn't celebrate Halloween. Yeah. And I knew about that because I grew up with Christian parents, and we didn't celebrate Halloween, and we had to go to the Hallelujah Fest. So I'm like, dang, I had no idea that. I thought that only happened in Omaha, Nebraska. I thought that was our church only, but apparently that's across the country. I was like, man, that was a horrible time of the month every time. That was funny though, making him dress up like Malcolm X and still trying to do a Spider-Man pose. That was a funny job. I remember that joke for a long time. That one stuck with me.
And it makes it memorable. It makes it Definitely. So memorable.
And once again, like I said, it connects. I'm as an audience member, not the comedian. It connected with me immediately, and you immediately are like, oh yeah.
But of course,
Hallelujah Fest. How could I not forget the candy corn and the peppermints?
The candy corn and the peppermints. And I'm thinking about a Jehovah's Witness mother, which it's the same thing.
Right.
It goes that way. And I was just thinking, like, wow, I want more people like him. I don't want, see what's happened also in the pandemic. I don't know if you've seen this, but like people are sending comics to me to work with because I coach, and they'll do something like, no, let me start again. And I'm like, man, you can't do that on stage. You're on stage, but you were doing it on the phone, and that's how you became popular. And now you're a star, and you can't do anything on stage.
Right.
What do you say to that TikTok comic? Don't stop. I'm not discouraging them. I'm just saying, like, you got to be prepared, man.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of social media influencers all want to do stand-up comedy. I think it kind of comes with the territory. I think comedy is the ultimate level of pure comedy stand-up. It's just the pure in the moment where you can't, press stop, or you can't restart, or you can't, run a joke back because you messed it up. Comedy is stand-up is the purest form of comedy because it's all within that moment. And on the stage, you got nobody but yourself. And if you fail, you got nobody to blame but yourself, typically, So for a TikTok or a social media influencer, I think that they're all, at some point in time, are all going to try to dabble into the world of stand-up. But I think what any social media influencer should understand, and vice versa, is that they're two different worlds. So, if you're going to do stand-up comedy and you're a social media influencer, you got to take it serious. If you really want to be somebody that can be successful in the industry of stand-up, because it's easy to go in front of a lot of people that like you and and they cheer you on, but it's difficult to go in front of people who don't know who you are and then get them to like who you are, just by that couple of minutes that you're on the stage.
Would you agree with me on this to say that, and this is my argument all the time, is that comedy is a performing art. It really is.
100%, definitely.
And we're not appreciated.
I don't think that I think that a lot of women in comedy maybe aren't appreciated. I think comedy as a whole is appreciated. I think comedy is the forefront of most of what entertainment is. Everybody wants to be funny. I don't know anybody that's never not wanted to be funny.
They all want to be funny.
Whether it's the hardest rapper, if you think about even the hardest rappers, everybody at some point in time in their career wants to dabble in some point of comedy because everybody wants to laugh no matter what you've been through.
And they need it for patter too. Think about it. 100%. Back in the day, I don't know, my parents were divorced, but my father used to say that every musician needs patter. And he said, suppose a string breaks on the guitar. And I never understood what he meant until I was at a show and it happened to someone and they had nothing to say. Right. They couldn't even say, hey, we're here all week. Like they didn't even say, where'd you learn to whisper in a helicopter? They didn't even have a hack joke.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, it's tough, man. You gotta be prepared when you get on the stage. And that's definitely 100% on the comedian. If you're gonna go on stage and you don't have any material, then you need to know to get off the stage too.
You need to
Because
know
a lot
when
of
to get
people,
off.
yeah, a lot of people go on stage and they try to save themselves when it's already over with. You know, but it's gonna be another stage, man. You don't have to, you know.
Don't kill us now,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Don't
yeah,
kill us
there'll be
now.
another fight, man. Just get out of there, you know, and you know, move to the next stage, and you'll be all right.
And how do you start stand up in Nebraska? It's I want to take the school different places that
Definitely.
they don't have comedy
Uh,
like this. You know what we do here.
Right. Nebraska, Nebraska has comedy. You know, it's where Johnny Carson's from. You know, the Johnny Carson theaters in Norfolk, Nebraska. Um, the Great American Comedy Festival goes down in Norfolk, Nebraska as well. Then we of course have the Funny Bone and the Bourbon Theater, Duffy's Comedy in Lincoln. So there is a world of comedy in Omaha. It's kind of like Hogwarts. You don't see it until someone takes you there. You know, so
Right.
and I think, you know, funny enough, a lot of small towns or a lot of towns that people don't know about. And Omaha's not really a small town. It's just one of them cities that you don't know about if you're from the likes of LA or New York or something like that.
Right.
It's a city that you just typically don't hear about. But cities like this, and I compare it to Boise, Idaho, which you probably never heard of.
Of course, I've
But-
heard of it. They have
so
potatoes.
You've heard of Boise, Idaho. Did you know they were the 7th best city for stand-up comedy?
No.
Right, out of the entire country. Right.
What's number one? San Francisco?
I think I don't remember what number 1 was. I have to take a look at that because I don't want to misquote that. But Boise, Idaho is number 7 on there, and which most people never heard of that city. But because comedy is so scarce, when it does happen, it's something that's draws out the entire city to go to.
That's
You know?
brilliant. We have to bring a
So-
tour there.
Right. In Omaha, it's the same exact way. In Omaha, Nebraska, you know, you would think that there's no comedy scene, but the comedians that are there have created the comedy scene, and as well as
Right.
myself, you know, we created a comedy scene for ourselves. And once you have one, the people that want to see stand up are going to come out to see it, and if they've never seen it before, it's going to draw a lot of attention.
You're gonna have a big show when you go back to Nebraska, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I ran a lot of shows in Nebraska for a long time, with a comedy group. You know, I've headlined a lot. I've won a lot of competitions in Omaha. So there's never really anything that I had left to do there that I haven't done yet. So that's kind of why I moved to LA. So when I go back to Nebraska to perform there's got to be something that's definitely worth it, because they've seen so much of me that it's like the only reason to come back is to come back with some form of success. You know, so we do have Barry Brewer Jr. His comedy tour is going through Omaha, so I'll be there for that. But for my own personal show, I do plan on, like, the next time I do a show like big in Omaha, I probably want it to be like a comedy special.
I would think so.
Yeah,
And considering the wealth of talent you have to offer, look at these things that are coming your way in such a short time. I just want to share with the audience. I mean, you've got the Comedy Center. Well, you say it. This is your show.
Right. Yeah. So we have some potential opportunities, and, you know, nothing is locked down just yet, but we're working on like they are. But we have a potential pilot episode that we're shooting for Comedy Central that we're submitting. That can be picked up by them. We also got offers through Facebook Watch and Snapchat to pick up the episodes as well, if it doesn't get picked up by Comedy Central. We're working on a comedy special that we're shooting next summer. We got a tour that we're working on with Barry Brewer. That's going to be a 20-city tour. That's going to be going on in September, October, and November. And then, of course, we got our sketch comedy group that's going to be pumping out sketches over the next couple of weeks.
And the name is?
We don't have a name for our sketch comedy group. We're actually still recruiting. But really our main focus has been producing our TV show, alongside with my good friend Kyle Kimber over there.
Kyle Kimber.
Yeah,
he's
he's
Timber with a K.
beast. Yeah, man. He's you know what I'm saying? We're like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
Except he can't even speak Korean.
I know, that's what sucks.
He can't order from the menu for
He
you.
He doesn't know karate either.
He doesn't know karate, but he does know fried chicken.
He does know fried chicken.
Collard greens and ham hocks.
Yes.
Okay, and he can drink Hennessy like nobody's
and he
business.
can smoke weed.
Okay,
like a mug, yo.
Nobody knew that. Come on, he's
Yeah.
a nice family over there.
He's a talented writer too. Don't forget that.
That's true.
Yeah,
he's
also
very
a really good
talented. He's
writer.
very talented.
Yeah, definitely.
The whole
So-
team here. Look, we have Wes Fakwa here, who has. I thought I was going to meet this big black guy when I heard Wes Fakwa, because Fakwa the writer.
Right. Wes does sound like a big black dude, but he's a big white dude. Yeah, he's a Viking.
He's a Viking.
Yeah.
I'm actually part Viking.
He's a
not
Viking that shaved. He's
but
like a
he
nice
looks
Viking.
like a Viking. He looks like he
Yeah.
could be a Croonquist.
He's like the Viking that does like the Vikings taxes.
Yeah.
He's like that.
You know what? You could go back in medieval. If you could go back,
But he's
let's
still
just
just
say-
as deadly.
It's just as
scary
deadly.
about him.
You know what's wonderful? I'm thinking about deadly. You know, my daughter always says, you know, you want to be a man, go out there and duel. Show me you're a man, duel. What do you think if we had to go back to the medieval times? What would be your choice of weaponry?
Oh man, that'd be scary. First choice of weapon off the bat. A lot of people notice about me. I'm going with the bow and arrow off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Give me 2 or 3 quivers of arrows. Give me a nice solid bow and arrow, and I think I should be able to survive most wars because archers don't really get taken out like that. You know, if you get taken out as an archer, you know that was God's plan. You know, so yeah.
How do you think that would look? Like if you were in a mall, you saw somebody coming up. How do you think that would look?
If I saw somebody coming up with a bow and arrow, I would hope that they're not after me because really running only makes you look stupider. Because at that point, he's probably already practiced for years for this moment. You don't just grab a bow and arrow, go to the mall, and hope to God you hit your target. You've rehearsed. You've shot a lot of targets in the back of woods. You've cut out people's face and printed them out and put them on targets and took them out. So there's no point in running at that point. If I saw a bow and arrow, I would just keep walking like I didn't see him and hope to God that I'm not on his list. And I shouldn't be. I don't think I've pissed off anybody enough to want to take me out by bow and arrow. So.
And how would they take out that bow and arrow when they're looking at somebody? How do you think they would do it? Like staring at them and just be
man.
like.
I don't even think they'd be staring at it. You probably wouldn't even see it coming.
But
you wouldn't even see it coming. He'd be in the shadow somewhere, and you just see the arrow take out the closest person next to him. And once he drops, you're like, oh shit, he's in the vicinity.
He's here.
Where is he? We don't know yet. Because archers don't reveal themselves till after everybody's dead. That's when they come out the shadows, like, yeah. And then we take the hoodie off, green arrow, like, oh man, this dude took out 13 people. We had no idea where the arrows was coming from. How many was it? One man.
That's a sketch.
With 13 arrows. That's scary.
That's sketch, man. What superhero would you be?
Man, if I had to be a superhero, that's crazy because it would not be the dude with the bow and arrow. I think that's a stupid power to have, personally. If I had to have any power, I would not want to be the dude with ultimate aim with a bow and arrow specifically. You know, so I would have to go. Are we Marvel or DC? What are we working with here?
You know, I don't even know. I just know that I get called in for these auditions and I don't take them as seriously as I should. When I look at TV, I'm like, oh my God, I should have read it.
I'm not gonna say super speed because that's just too
that's too much, right?
No, man, that's stereotypical for me to have super speed. I don't want super speed. I want to not super speed, but give me 2 powers. Give me Nightcrawler's ability to teleport wherever I need to at any point in time.
Beautiful.
All right, and then give me telepathy. Give me the ability to move matter or form matter using just my mind. I think I'll be straight.
Wow.
So you can go anywhere you need to, and then you can basically control matter. So I think I could live with that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's deep, man. We gotta think of a name for like Super Kill. You gotta tell me about your name. Super Kill Brothers.
Right.
What's this name? What's this name?
Rap album.
It does sound like a rap album. You do rap, right?
I do rap. That sounds like a rap album from like 1982, though. That sounds like the first.
That's
rap
probably
album.
right.
First gangster rap album.
I was probably there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we're old people now.
No, you're not old. You're beautiful.
Oh man, you could tell.
Beautiful.
You still got that.
34 is not old. You need to
get off that. Right.
Okay.
It's not. This side's a 34 and that side's a 34. But I did gain some weight, which is good because I was looking like a Shar-Pei for a second. You know, the dogs that go, and that's what happened. So this is your future. And I can't do that now because my braids are too tight. Because my daughter braided my hair to show my husband what it would look like if he paid the $35,000 for the facelift. You know what I mean? You too could look like this, and you wonder why black women, they say black don't crack, doesn't move.
It's the braids.
Doesn't move, and now you know why we're in a bad mood and we have a headache for real. We tell the brother, not tonight. We got a headache. We ain't playing. I got a headache.
You could tell if your girl is pissed off at you by how tight she braids your hair. Typically. That's how,
And when you start looking like Jackie Chan.
Right. And as a man, you got to power through it because you don't want to let her see your pain. So you got to. She knows what she's doing. She knows what hurts.
She goes tighter.
And she goes tighter and
tighter.
tighter.
And then she gets to the kitchens.
Then you just gotta automatically. Well, what did I do? You just gotta let it out. What happened? I went through your phone. You could have said that before I asked you to braid my hair. Torturing me.
And she starts with the part.
Yeah.
Down.
The part's the best part. The part feels good. It's when she gets to it. And then she braid it real tight, and you're like, I messed up. Redo it. Like, oh man, you gotta redo it.
Your edges.
You just tearing hair at this point.
Tearing it out.
It's crucial.
But it looks great, right? Your hair. I love your hair. I love the fact that you have versatility with your hair.
I do. I normally do have it braided, but I'm growing it out right now, so it's not braided. I'm letting some hair catch up to the other hairs, and I'm gonna braid that up. That's gonna be a braid.
Just one braid.
And not one braid, it's gonna be multiple braids.
Multiple braids.
Yep, that'll all equal up to a braid.
To one braid. It's a lot braids though. It's a lot.
It's like it's like a cornucopia of braids.
Yeah. Look, I feel. Let me tell you what I did. Talking about cornucopia braids. I shaved my hair back then on the sides, and it's so different when your scalp's exposed. Isn't it sensual? Like, isn't it? Aren't you more sexual?
It feels good.
Doesn't it feel good? And part
good.
of your hair, they don't do that anymore. That's some country shit, right?
So that's what happened. I like the side of my hair. I shaved it off, and the top was braided. So I'm growing out the sides of my hair so that it can.
Oh, you did shave, so you know what I'm talking about.
Listen to us. That's my hairstyle all 2020.
Wow.
The head shave on the side, the braids on top. I was good to go. I was a little R&B singer for like 9 months.
You were cameo for 9 months, right?
Yeah. A cameo. Dang, took it way back. I was D'Angelo. I have some
oh my God,
baby
D'Angelo.
Oil in the braids, and I had my roommate just circle around me with the camera while I was singing, lip singing, of course.
We have to have you do that for a sketch. Would you?
That sounds hilarious.
Hilarious. I would love to do it, and then have somebody put baby oil. You know, that's so crazy. It just brings me back to the first time that I ever met Stedman Graham. We were doing this talk about going back. This guy's Oprah's boyfriend. I guess I could say this. I mean, it's true, right?
Stedman.
Right. So we're doing this fashion show, and it's bathing suits. And we're in Cape May Courthouse. I can't make this stuff up. And the girls say, we're getting the baby oil. We're getting the baby oil. And I'm like, for what? And they're like, don't you want to put baby oil on Stedman? And I was like, was he a baby? I mean, like, what are you talking about? Like, put baby oil on a.
Is this pre-Oprah or post-Oprah?
Listen, I'm that old. That this brother, he told me?
What?
He was like, I'm gonna take out Oprah Winfrey. And I was like, how? Because I'm from Jersey. How you taking her out? You know people? Like, what are you talking about? What'd she do to you? Did she get you? Like, what happened? And he was like, no, he was focused, and he did what he heard. The story's true.
Wow.
And he said he was going to go out with Oprah, and he was beautiful, I guess. Like, my girlfriend, it's her friend. The girl on that picture with the blonde hair and blue eyes on the left, she's black, actually. They come from a different kind of family out in Cape May Courthouse. You know, they all look something. A little different. A little different, right. But they're all black, but they all look different, and they all stick with themselves.
Like Black 2.0 or something?
Yeah. But don't say it because they think in their heads, you know, like.
Oh, okay. We don't want to.
They're the kind of people that try screaming at the boss that you fired me because I'm black, and the boss is like, "You're black," you know what I mean? Like.
Well, now that you told me.
But I remember that baby oil moment where they really were doing it, and I was just thinking to myself, and he was in these Speedos like baloney. It looked like baloney on him. I can't talk. I was in some French cut, whatever I was wearing. I remember what I was wearing though. And I remember that it was the baby oil that they kept asking about, and they wanted to rub it on him. And I just never thought of it like that. Like, I would never think. And they were like, yeah, when you find somebody like, you know.
The baby oil was all the groove in the 80s and 90s. That's what made the video. Baby oil. That's all you needed.
I missed that.
If you think about it, Juvenile. I'm not Juvenile. I'm sorry. The Blackstreet Boys. They all had baby oil on their face. That's why they were so shiny. Jagged Edge. Baby oil. They were all white. And they put baby oil on to make the white look brighter because light reflects.
Wow, does it really?
Off the baby oil. Yep.
Off the baby oil.
Usher, baby oil. Every song Usher ever made. He was in the 90s, big baby oil on his chest.
That is some secret, Kel. I didn't know you had beauty secrets too.
Baby oil. Trust me.
Baby oil.
Terry Crews, white chicks. Hell lot of baby oil. Remember? All on his chest. You be thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger is sweating in the movies. It's not sweat. That's baby oil.
Wow, yeah, because he's sweating, hoping that the next cleaning lady, he's not gonna. Hello there.
Oh.
All right, did I say that? Did I go there? Did you know I heard about that in my building like about 2 months before?
I heard about that through stand-up comedy. I had no idea that was a real thing. Like I heard about that in a joke, and I was like, "Is that?" And I researched. I was like, "Oh shit, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger cheated on his wife with a maid." I heard it through who was it? Oh man, I don't remember.
Well, you know what's funny?
It was on Pandora.
My husband gets really mad when I make jokes about the cleaning lady because he'll tell me, Lord, she came in today, and I was like, oh, and how was her day? He's like, she had a rough week the other week. And I was like, oh, because it seemed to me that he has more time to talk to her.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I think a man does like to see something. There's something with that. I got pine sol in my hands, and why you want to get busy? Now,
I think that every man in power sleeps with his maid at least once.
At least once, right?
I mean, because why did you hire her?
Right.
Like, come on, you're not paying her for just cleaning.
Right. I do have a hot cleaning lady.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I should watch that then, maybe.
It might be too late. No, I'm playing.
Right, because the house looks like shit. I can tell you that. I'm just kidding. All right, so this is my final portion for you is the advice section that everybody wants to know. So how do they get to see you? And also, what is your advice to? I'd like to say just not to focus on young Black comedians, but I tell them up front what people are looking for. People are looking for you not to be punctual. They're looking for you to run that light. They're waiting for you. I tell them the truth because it's the truth as I see it from working in all these clubs over the years, decades of comedy. And so do you think that still holds true to teach these young, because they're like, wait, I don't know I'm going to get another spot. And you're like, well, that's not going to do it.
Right.
Pushing the audience to say, oh, come on, tell them one more joke. Like, how do you, because I want them to
my advice for comedians, if you're new in the game, quit. Quit.
You still have a chance.
You don't have a chance at all. You might as well just give up now. So, yeah.
People, one thing I have to close with is knowing that you are a comics comic. And why is that so much more important than being a comedian on television to us?
You said what's more important?
Why is it more important? Like a comic, you're a comics comic. You know what I mean? Like where comedians come out to see each other, not very often.
Definitely.
But, they come out, like when I come out, some comics will come out and be like, bitch, I gotta come see you because you got out the bed. And I'm like, out the bed? I'm always out the bed. Like, I don't like to work like I used to. That's all. They don't pay me enough.
I think like being a comics comic, I think comics just learn from you. I think that's where that comes from. Like when you see a comic that and you're like, dang, I wish I would have came up with that subject matter. I wish I would have came up with that premise. I think that's what kind of when you become a comics comic. And I see that from a lot of comedians that I hang out with personally, which is why I love watching their comedy as a comic. Because a lot of comedians, I hate watching their comedy.
I know.
Typically, a lot of shows, comics don't watch each other. But if you can get a comic to watch you or a group of comedians watch you, then you're doing something on stage, right? So,
right. That's the plus side. That's the plus side. Because I have this. I want to just thank you for your service in our country, Mr. John O'Connell or O'Connor. O'Sullivan. I'm sorry. I went with the O'Connors.
That's close.
Oh my God, O'Sullivan. Oh my God.
T1000.
This is terrible. It's not a Mick. It's an O. It's not O'Malley. It's O'Sullivan. And so, listen, these soldiers have a lot of pressure on them. And I think comedy is a great release.
It is. I think a lot of people, actually, I know for sure a lot of people overseas when they're deployed, they watch a lot of comedy because comedy in any form is the best stress reliever, especially for someone in the military going through what they're going through, So, comedy heals all.
It does. It really does. Because you make me laugh, Kill.
Good.
Kill. I run into you in the weirdest places, man. But you know what? I know how to push through a crowd, don't I?
You do.
New York style.
You do. You get it done.
I get it done.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. And
I
appreciate you saying that. Appreciating for what I try to do here with these comedians. And
of course. Your heart's in the right place. And you definitely been doing it. You're being able to pass down the knowledge that you gained in your time doing stand-up comedy is something that I think a lot of other comics should do. A lot of other comics don't want to pass down their knowledge to the next generation because they feel it's not over for them, or even if it's not over for them, they just don't want to share the secrets of it. But no, I feel like everyone should teach what they know, or at least pass down what they know. Take from it what you will as a new comedian or whatever. But I think that's what keeps you alive as a comedian is the fact that you pass it down to someone else. And that person shouldn't forget you if you did, if they learned something from you. I remember everybody I learned something from.
Isn't that something? So. Me too. I also remember who I owe money to.
Right.
I always do.
100%.
Paul Mooney, did you have a chance to meet him ever?
I know I did not get a chance to meet Paul Mooney. I wish I would have. I did
Wow.
not get a chance to sit down with him.
I was going to say, now that is someone who will teach you. He will
Right.
learn you. He will learn
Oh
you.
yeah, Godfather of comedy.
He was the godfather of comedy, period, and
Yeah.
allowed everybody
Mhm.
to feel free. And
Yep.
and yeah, I've just been filled up still because, you know, his memorial, then he had another memorial, and I'm still in touch with the family. And it was such a ridiculous, it was just the most beautiful, it was like a ridiculous celebration of life that he would be like, this is ridiculous for me. Look at this.
It's hard to accept the passing of a lot of these, comedians that are at the forefront of Black comedy. You know, it was hard to accept when Bernie died, and it's definitely hard to accept the fact that Paul Mooney's gone because you just don't even see how fast time flies until it's gone already. You know.
Because time doesn't fly. It just doesn't wait.
Right. It's true.
It really,
Yeah.
it doesn't wait. And I'm so fortunate to have worked with him.
You're very, very fortunate, very blessed to have been able to cement that before he went. You know, so I'm hoping to work with a lot of comedians before their time is up on this earth. So, that's one thing that I really push myself to do is to be on a level to be able to be on the same, scale, as these people. So
Yeah, he would teach you though. He would definitely tell you.
definitely.
He would tell you, young, gifted, and Black. It's too bad you're a nigger, Sunda. Give it up, young, gifted, and Black. Too bad. And I was just like, Paul again. And he'd say, they love me, they love me, they love me. And he taught me so much. He taught me not to be afraid. He taught me to love every bit of myself. Why are you just playing to this Black club? You know you're a Jew. You know you're a Jew. You're Creole. You know what you are. Come on, be real. And I realized I was playing to it.
Right.
I got it.
People wanted instead of what you were.
Yeah, because I don't, it's always something. Now I can't do the Spanish shows, even though people ask me because they know me from like Noche con Platanito or Hot Tamales, and they're like, I'm a culture vulture or something. You can't do that now. Comedy's comedy. I don't care.
Yeah, you gotta really not care these days.
I can't kill. I can't care.
Yeah, you can't care, and you're at a point in your career, I believe, well, you shouldn't have to care.
I don't care.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, because you can't cancel. Look, our phones are dead, but it doesn't mean we are. And guys, if you want to follow Kill,
you guys can find me on Instagram at KillTV, Kill_TV. That's KIL1L_TV. Find me on TikTok under the same KIL_TV. Follow me on Facebook. We got some big Facebook shows that are going to be popping up all over the web. So we got some big things popping. Just stick with me and we'll see what happens.
Will you come back again though? In between and all this stuff, and we'll have some new comedians. You can give them advice and all that stuff. And maybe next time I won't wear something that's so mommy-ish. I have just too much today. But I just want to thank everybody so much. This talk show's on the go. You can find me at Sunda Live and all that jazz. And thank you guys very much for watching.
Peace out.
Play the music.
It's playing. Is it not playing?
It's playing.
You don't have your headphones on.
Okay, it's playing. Thank you. Can somebody take stills of us, please? Take pictures before we leave. Yeah. Thank you. Let me just charge your phone.